Welcome to the channel, everybody. If you haven't yet hit subscribe, please do so now. In today's video, we are going to be speaking about Stokvels and just exploring the different Stokvels that you get. And I'm also going to tell you what I've done and how I plan to raise capital to make investment. So let's get straight into this video. What are Stokvels? Now, most of us are familiar with the traditional methods of saving with Stokvels, where it's a rotational club. Each member makes monthly contributions or fortnightly contributions, and each member will receive a payout along the way. Now, whatever in your constitution that is the mandate and the rules of your Stokvel, that will dictate why your Stokvel has been set up. Now, you can set up Stokvels for various reasons, which we will get into shortly. But there's a few things that I want to point out. In the South African economy, Stokvels play a massive role in the sustainability of people actually surviving from month to month. Most people use Stokvels for consumption rather than investment. Now, this is where I want to sort of flip the switch a little bit and allow you to think differently as what the potential Stokvel can actually provide for you and your members if you delay that reward. Now, I know it's not possible for everyone to say, all right, let's not use the money, because most people are reliant on that money just to survive. So that payout that they receive when it's their turn, that might be for their child's education. It might be for groceries. It might be for a family member in case someone dies and now they have the money to help them with the costs associated with death. Now, there's a few things that I want to point out, that there is roughly about 50 billion Rand worth of member savings floating around in the SA economy. There's over 800,000 Stokvels and almost 11.6 million participants. So this ecosystem is absolutely massive, and it has the potential to generate GDP growth and provide capital for small startup businesses, which I'm going to explain to you further in this video. If you read at the bottom, it says that it is estimated that 1 in every 2 South Africans is a member of at least one of the 800 Stokvels. And there's 50 billion Rand circulating around within the members of these Stokvels. Now, there are a few different types of Stokvels that you can get invited to, or that you can actually start up for yourself. The traditional ones are where they are just contribution Stokvels, and you pool your money weekly together, fortnightly or monthly, and members receive lump sum payments on a rotational basis. So usually 12 members, January, someone will receive everyone's payments for that month. So if you all contributing 1,000 Rand a month, January, that person is going to get 11,000 Rand, including theirs, which is 12,000. Then February comes along, the second person in that fund will receive the 12,000 Rand, and so on all the way until that Stokvel has been finished for the year. It usually dissolves and starts again. So you have contribution Stokvels, basic Stokvels, grocery Stokvels. So it's basically in their name what you are using the Stokvel for. Members might contribute cash coupons to each other for supermarket chains where they can buy groceries. This is a very common one. You also have purchasing Stokvels where people pool money together to buy big items. Family Stokvels, so you might have one within your family where everyone contributes money, and that is just in case your family needs money, or if you maybe want to buy a car or land, you circulate the money within your family. Then my personal favorite is investment groups, where you focus more on investment rather than the consumption aspects of Stokvels. Here you benefit from interest, investments, and you can also invest in property. You can fund startup businesses. This is where I have focused my attention mainly, and this is what I'm going to speak about in this video. But before I get more into that, there are also party stokvels. Ideally, I wouldn't want to partake in that, but each their own, and everyone has a right to their own stokvel that they want to join. And then you get borrowing stokvels, where you can actually lend money out to the members within the stokvel, or maybe even to outsiders. So if you are interested in starting a stokvel, you would have to set up a constitution where you lay out the rules, where it's clear rules that you've laid out as a mandate, and you have members that oversee that everyone is abiding by the rules. So your first thing would be to draft a contract, make sure that it's all guidelined correctly, and the members have a common goal that you are working to, whether that is to contribute to buy land, whether that's for grocery stokvels, or whether it's just for consumption where each person is going to receive a payment at the end of each month. So I will focus mainly on investment, and I'll explain to you why I've done that. I started my stokvel. I've failed a few times. We started a stokvel, we ended it, it didn't work, and we slowly fine-tuned it to the way we wanted to. And if you know me, and you know that I'm currently living abroad, and what I did was set up a stokvel before I left South Africa. And the members now of our fund contribute between 1,000 Rand and 5,000 every month. So the minimum amount that we raise every month is 5,000 Rand. That's if everyone puts 1,000 Rand in. And the maximum is 25,000 Rand. That's if everyone decides to pay 5,000 a month. Now, what each member pays is based on their personal affordability. So one person might pay 2,000, one might pay 5,000, another might pay 1,000. So the reason there is that range is because we want to build up capital as quickly as possible, but we also want to restrict someone from contributing too much compared to the lowest contributor. So between 1,000 and 5,000, and that money comes in every month. Now, our objective is to raise capital, invest 50% of the yearly contributions in stocks, and then leave the other 50% in cash to accumulate capital, with the intention of making investments into property and funding small startup businesses. Now, we started out as a stokvel with a 32-day account. We had no business account. We just stuck to our mandate, our contract, and our members contributed monthly. After about a year, or I think it was 2 years, we decided to open our bank account, where we house the capital as a business in a business bank account, and then you distribute shares to that company. So you loan the money from your members to your business, so it's a loan, and then you distribute share ownership, so share certificates that prove that the members own the underlying business. And then we still contribute monthly, because our goal is to build capital until we are ready to deploy those funds. Now, I want to add one thing extra. As a group stokvel, maybe many of you already are familiar with easy equities. Maybe you have an account in your child's name, your own name. But did you know that you are able to open up a group stokvel investing account with easy equities? So you can start a stokvel with the intention of making investments in the stock market. So what we do is we take our annual contribution, say we contribute 10,000 Rand a month between 5 members, 2,000 Rand a month. And at the end of year one, we have 120,000 Rand, for example. We take 50% of that capital and we put it on the stock market. So after 1 year, we have 60,000 Rand invested. That's earning much better returns than money in the bank, maybe 10%, 15%. 2020, we saw significant growth, and that really paid off. So we invest in the stock market, earning good returns, or better returns in the bank. Remember, it's not risk-free. You can lose money. And we keep the 50% cash in the bank account. Year 1, 120 split up 60-60. Year 2, same concept, 60-60. We have 120 in the stock market, 120 in cash. And then we house that in our business. And the aim of our business is to buy property, scale our business, all right, using other people's money or the bank's money, depending on how we can access capital at the cheapest rate possible, and then leverage that to scale the business. And at the same time, we invest in the stock market, properties, and we want to look to invest into startup businesses or small businesses within the South African economy. So we might say to you, yes, we like your business. We have capital that we can lend you. You can either offer us equity as a silent partner, or you can say, okay, I don't want to give up equity. Lend me the money and I will pay you a return. So there is lots of potential, and I want to show the power of Stokvels. So if you focus your attention away from consumption and move to investment, after 5-6 years, you could be sitting close to R1 million in cash. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a great starting point for you to grow a business and access capital. So let's look at some key things. So lately, there's been a very high demand on people actually searching Stokvels, trying to see what is a Stokvel? What is it about? And you can see here are some analytics from Google, and you can see how the interest has grown over the last 7 days, how on July 17th, there was a massive spike, and 16th, 14th, 13th. Now, this may coincide with the social unrest in South Africa, because just think about the destruction of small businesses. Many of them might already be in debt, or some of them might be thinking, how do I access capital now when I've got no more business, I've got no more assets, I have no collateral to actually start something up? Someone that has a Stokvel, that has an intention to make an investment in the economy, might believe in the startup business or the small business of that person whose business that was ruined, and they could maybe support them, finance them, say, hey, we like your business, give us 10% and we are going to fund you so you can get back up on your feet, start your business and scale. So their success will equate to our success. Now, obviously, some members might not want to give equity away. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they have an option to have access to capital at a cheaper rate than the bank. The banks might even decline them, so they might go to other sources for capital. So over the 7 days, you can see there's been a big uptake in people searching for Stokvels. Now, what I'm saying is speculation. Maybe people just are looking to save more, trying to learn about it. There could be numerous reasons why. And the same thing applies for the last 12 months. So it's been consistent. July, there was quite a lot of interest. October, January 2021. Come July, you see that big spike up. Now, some of the data visuals that we are going to look at, it's from about 2017, 2018. But I just want to draw your attention on show you the effects of Stokvels and what part they play in our economy. So before I give you this information and we go through the data, I must give thanks to University of Cape Town for this research. And the researcher was Rudanzani Maludza and the professor Martin Hall. So this was a thesis that was done by, I'm guessing, the department or someone that was doing their dissertation. So this might be a little bit outdated and the numbers have changed, but it's not about using the data for anything. It's showing you the visualness of what part Stokvels play in our economy. So in that dissertation and that research that they put together, this graph came from them. I will put the downloadable copies in the comments box so you can read the full report. There's one by Old Mutual and UCT. So if you had to put Stokvels, from the amount of people that are actually using Stokvels to raise capital, save money, if you had to put it by province, it would be the second biggest province in South Africa by population. So that means there's more people that are using Stokvels than every single province than Gauteng. So it would be the second biggest province by population if we had to categorize it like that. That just shows you there's a lot of people that are reliant on these Stokvels for their money, which might help them survive the end of the month. Maybe it allows them to get groceries so they don't starve for a month or two. So it plays a major role in our economy. Now, in the dissertation of UCT's research, they research certain townships and certain areas, which you can see if you download. The average age of Stokvel members were between 35 and 50 people. So there's huge educational aspects. There's people that are younger than 30. There's a huge demand for financial literacy and understanding of Stokvels. Now, many people might not be aware that you can actually use a Stokvel to make investment. Just think of the power here, guys and girls, whoever is watching. If you have 12 people and each of you pay 1,000 Rand every month, you are going to generate 12,000 Rand a month. And if you do that consistently for the whole year, you're going to have 12 times 12. That's 144,000 Rand liquid cash to do with what you want. Now you can distribute the funds all at once, but then again, you're losing the power of compound interest. Invest it. Think long-term of how you can benefit yourself and the members within the fund. Keep it small, keep it contained. And think of year 2, you're going to have 288,000 Rand. And year 3, year 4, year 5, you can get the idea. Now, remember, I'm not adding interest if I've invested in the stock market. Maybe I'm getting 10% return on top of my money that I'm investing. So if I'm investing 60,000 a month, I'm generating an extra 6,000 Rand in capital appreciation. And my cash in the bank account might also be earning interest. So if you're housing this all under a business, you have the potential to pool money together and build capital. So you're not reliant on the bank anymore, but yourself and your fund, which you turn into an enterprise or a business. Now, many people that have Stokvels, from the sample size that UCT interviewed, these were some of the reasons why none of them used their Stokvel for investing. Some of them had future plans. Maybe some of them joined the Stokvels to receive the payment so that they could go on holiday or to have money for their wedding, to fund their child's education, which is great because they are making a contingency for those things. So that's fantastic. Haven't thought about it. That's 57% of people that haven't thought about how you can use Stokvels to grow your wealth and actually to support an ecosystem of small businesses to succeed. Now, we always talk about how we want a Black economy to benefit from each other and how we are deprived, small businesses are deprived from accessing capital. Now, this is a stimulant and a potential game changer for small Black businesses who cannot get access to capital. If you create a network and a support system where you have members contributing every month, and your intention is to grow your businesses, access new avenues for people to work, people to earn income, and just to grow certain industries within your local economy, you can create this pool of capital that belongs to your economy instead of relying on banks to fund something that they might not believe in. So there's huge potential here. And I think Most people might not know it because there's a lack of education about it and the potential to do it. But I also think because the economy is not doing well, there's a constraint on people being able to do that. I'm reliant on the Stokvel so I can get this payout just to have enough money to buy my groceries. So there's two things that are a problem here. It could be the economy and lack of education. And you can see how it's broken down, not enough money for that reason. People are needing those Stokvels to fund what they are trying to buy in the short term. There was things that UCT pointed out was that people are risk adverse. Well, these members in the Stokvels are risk adverse because they cannot afford to lose their money, or they cannot afford to delay that expenditure. Now, because they are living maybe from hand to mouth, that they can't say, hey, well, I'm going to stop this payment not to pay my child's school fees so I can make an investment. So realistically, this isn't possible because the economy might be doing bad, like I mentioned, and that is a big damper on how they can actually grow. So that is one major concern, which I don't have too many answers for that unless the economy can start improving. But I think the more people that can start pooling money together for the specific reason of delaying gratification and making investment, I think that loop will come back around to the people that aren't able to do that. They will be able to do that if the larger economy starts benefiting as a whole. So you have to start at the grassroots to be able to do that, and then to build up to create that loop to get to the people who are in a position that can't do that for right now. The research also shows that financial education is central to the transition from consumers to investors. So there is a lack of financial education. And it says seeing, reading, or hearing of financial successes of Stokvels. That means many people aren't seeing other people do this. So people might say, oh, it's a scam. I'm not going to give my money to somebody and think, oh, this is what's going to happen. Let me just get it out as quickly as possible. I know it's mine. So there's not many success stories for people to mold and follow in that direction. So because of this, this was my underlining motivation of setting up our own fund. I want to invest in small businesses that succeed because their success will equal my success in the long run too, because I'll have equity or I'm getting a return on the capital that I've lent out. Now, moving away from UCT's research, we're going to look at Old Mutual, which you'll also find the downloadable PDF copy in the comments section. They also did research on Stokvels and laid out strong arguments to why people aren't doing certain things, why they are, where they're spending money, how they're spending it, etc. But there's one thing that I took from here that I wanted to point out was that a lot of small, medium enterprises, so a lot of small businesses have never accessed credit. Now, for your business to scale, you need debt, you need credit. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to scale my business to meet up with demand, increased demand. If I'm creating shoes and I only have an X amount of money and I'm bootstrapping my business myself, and I get an order to supply 10,000 shoes for the Olympics or for a soccer tournament, whatever it be, that's just an example. How am I going to put that into production if I have no access to capital? Immediately, I've stunned the growth of my own business because I can't scale. I have no access. I have no support network. And I don't have the skills. I cannot retain the skills of the people that are actually going to put that into production. Immediately, I'm going to lose that bid to someone who's got the resources. Now, if that is a black business trying to succeed and grow, immediately they're at the back foot. Now, if we have Stokvels that are designed to fund small businesses in this way, that person who has never accessed credit could come to a Stokvel who is going to be a beneficiary of your success. Now, not to take advantage of them and swallow all their equity, but to provide them with the capital, the liquidity to actually bankroll what they need to supply the order for a contract that they can get. And that's how you are going to grow a business. And that's why I believe stokvels are one of the starting blocks to successful economic growth, and how we can actually go from year to year and use small businesses to grow the economy. So this is why I focused on this chart, just to show you how many businesses have never accessed credit. And if they cannot access credit the traditional ways of getting bank financing, they will go to unsecured lending at very high rates. And their production might not cover what they're earning, and the business doesn't actually see its full potential, because you have a loan shark that is only worried about the money and not the success of the business. Whereas if stokvels mandates and founders are worried more about people orientated rather than capital orientated, because the capital will come eventually from the success of the underlying businesses. So if you can see that picture, then starting a stokvel with those intentions and getting a group of people that share common goals, it can be very, very successful. Now, from Old Mutual's research, it just says to you that 89% of informal savers are Black people. So that is meaning that stokvels are traditionally used in Black societies to help with buying groceries, paying for school children. It's a vital part of that success of those households. And many of those households in the Black population are actually reliant on that way of saving. And it's no fault of many people that they don't have enough money to pool their money together to make investments. But I'm just trying to point out that the power that stokvels have, instead of focusing on the traditional ways of consumption, if people can try to start on focusing on the investment side of stokvels, then you have the potential to unlock 50 billion rands worth of capital that can go to productive areas of the economies for people to start businesses, buy land, start construction companies, start manufacturing outlets, and that can ripple into something much greater. And then there's just, on Old Mutual's research, they also talk about why save in a stokvel rather than a formal institution. Now, why will I opt the stokvel route instead of just going with a bank? And it's broken down to that easy access to cash and loans, which I think is probably the most important, is why it's the highest percentage there. Because if your mandate and the founders are people orientated, and their goal is for small businesses to succeed, then someone with a viable business that is showing growth or potential in an economic trend that can succeed, why would those members not take the risk when they have a certain amount of capital to deploy? It makes sense. Now, when I'm in a financial situation to lend money to businesses, a bank might say no to a business because it's too much risk for them and they aren't connecting with the person. Now, where I might have a connection with someone and build an authentic relationship and understand the business and take more time to do my research than a bank would, I might think it makes sense to fund this business because he or she's going to employ 5 new people. They have the potential to break even in 3 years and then start growing profits from a growing industry. Now, why would I not take that risk and fund that business? Support the economy, hire jobs, hire people, create more jobs, and slowly ripple. Remember I said their success would equal my success. Social bonding and community, I touched on that now. You are forming authentic relationships with small business owners, and you are growing a network where you are getting like-minded individuals who have the same objective and they want to achieve the same goals. Power of pooled resources. There's magic in small numbers. I showed you how 12 people every month contributing 1,000 Rand generates 144,000 Rand. Now you can do the math. Imagine you have 1,000 people in your network, and 1,000 people is not a lot. You can go to someone's page on Twitter and they've got 9,000 people, 4,000 people. You just need 1,000 people, not even that many, but I'm just assuming 1,000 people. Imagine they contributing 1,000 a month. Imagine the potential of the income that you can get every month and put that in back into small businesses. Now, your rate of your return might not be instant. It might take 15 years before you actually see something, but you are investing back in the community, back into your economic growth where you intend to stay, and you are giving people employment, opportunity, and that is only going to ripple into further success. It also builds discipline, less charges and red tape. And these are just some of the points that Old Mutual point out as a bank themselves. So that's going to conclude what I wanted to talk about today. And I just want to highlight the importance of it, especially in underprivileged Black communities where there is a lot of talent, a lot of undiscovered talent. There's a lot of skilled people there that are battling to find work. And many people have the potential to start their own businesses, catering businesses, shoe businesses, clothing, manufacturing, small tuck shops, restaurants, cafes, you name it, creches. There's a whole untapped industry. And the only thing that is hampering this is access to capital. Now, if government or SARB isn't going to give you access to this capital, then we have to form social community bonds where we take control of our own capital, pull that together, and support ecosystems that can grow from those levels. So the highlight of this video is to show you what I am doing. I am 3-4 years into the process, and we've raised close to 500,000 Rand. Now, it's taken a long time to get there, but remember, this doesn't happen overnight. Now, if I have a fund like this and there's 10 other funds like this, that's already 5 million Rand. You might do a joint venture with one of those funds and fund a startup business that employs 12 people. Now, that's 12 jobs of people that weren't employed before, that you're giving income, you're giving them spending power to spend their money, develop skills, and to grow the economy. And I think this is a very viable way at looking at things and approaching things. And if you are in a position where you are already running a Stokvel and you are not really reliant on needing that payout to help you survive, then look at delaying that gratification, keeping that money together as a group, and then actually creating strategic plans of where you're going to invest it and who you're going to invest it in, and then grow your network from there. So I hope this shed some light on what I'm doing, and I hope it inspires many of you to go out and do the same. Please, if you have any questions, drop me a DM, send me an email, drop a comment in the drop your thoughts in the comment box, and just let me know if you even think this is going to work, if you think it's a good idea. If you are already doing this, please connect with me, because I want to connect with people that are doing this. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And thank you for watching this video. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. So from me, I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll see you next week.